Another chapter in the closing saga of the collapsed crypto exchange, FTX. According to a court filing, the company is saying almost all of its customers will get their money back. The company is saying it owes creditors about $11.2 billion, and the plan says that customers whose claims amount to $50,000 or less will receive approximately 118% of the amount of their allowed claim. The reorganization still has to be approved by the bankruptcy court here. It's worth noting that, of course, when the company collapsed, when FTX went down back in 2022, late 2022, Bitcoin at that price back then was somewhere around $20,000. And as we're taking a look at BTC-USD here today, I don't know if we have the chart that we can toss up here on the screen, but we should still be north of $60,000, $61,000, $62,000 if you want to round up at home. So all these things considered, there's kind of a hefty delta between what some of these people may have owned within FTX and what they will be owed as a result of this settlement too.
Yeah, that's such a good point there, Brad, especially when you take a look at the behavior here of Bitcoin ahead of this bankruptcy filing, right? Because it had sold off just about 50% here ahead of that. So when you compare that, the time of the value there, what it was from this bankruptcy filing to what it was today, seriously a very, very large gap. When it talks about where this funding is going to come from, nearly 100% of it, more than 99% of it coming from what they had raised from the company's investment portfolio. And within that, reports here that Anthropic, they're holding there. They sold the shares there and that for nearly $900 million this year. So again, many of those who have been affected by this filing are going to get 118 cents, I guess, on the dollar here when it all evens out. But again, like you were saying, this has to be approved. There's still a couple of processes that need to take place before this is finalized. But I think that this doesn't really remove the uncertainty aspect surrounding crypto, surrounding Bitcoin, right? And why so many people even remain on the sidelines when it comes to these type of investments. Yes, you can make the argument FTX is very much a one-off type of situation, the fraud, the allegations, everything that had been confirmed there and found in court. But still, when people think about investing in crypto, I think there is a hesitation here with a large portion of the investment audience who is a bit skeptical and a bit nervous of putting their money in crypto because of everything that has played out over the last several years.
Well, we've had some major profiles that have tried to emerge and cement themselves as Bitcoin or crypto barons instead of making sure that they were cementing the service or the product that they were providing to actually sustain the well-being of sentiment for the industry at a whole here. And what do we mean by that? I mean, you look at FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried now, who has also, for FTX, they've had to previously approve a settlement with BlockFi as well. That was the largest creditor of FTX. There have been continued missteps for the people who were looked at as barons. That's put a dent in the sentiment, and it almost points exactly back to why Satoshi, who wrote and pioneered the Bitcoin white paper, is so anonymous, because it wasn't supposed to be annexed or be able to be made or broken by one figure and one figure alone here. And so that was the prevailing origin story for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency here. Larger question here of now, when you've got so many large financial institutions involved and invested, where there's going to be more of an effort to make sure that there is regulatory practices that actually solidify the sentiment from this point forward.
Yeah, exactly. We were talking a bit to Anthony Pompliano about that yesterday, in just in terms of what exactly that could potentially look like here in the years to come.